Hello. Hello. Hi, so I'm here. Oh, Pete's sake. Hey, Will. Um, so this is just going to be me chilling and doing some game dev stuff. Um, One thing sort of worth noting is the way that we have it set up. Um, hey, Herring. Um, is that when I do a little Godot test, it'll actually pull up a test window like that on the stream. It actually looks a little better on your screen than it does on mine, probably. Um, so yeah, so it's not very much, but this is kind of the screen that I've got going right now. Um, I'm gonna just briefly having the ob screen on there is probably messing with it more. Um, so there's not very much right now. Just a little bit of like RPG convention. So like there's a menu that you can go to. You can open it up, quote unquote, but it's not even really a lot yet. Like that's pretty terrible actually as far as stuff goes. There's going to be a lot more work on that action menu today um, because of I'm going to try and start on battles today, which is going to be fun. Oh, but here's dialogue. This is the part that I'm kind of proud of, which you may have seen a couple things on the thing, but on like a Discord or whatnot. But basically, if you talk, you actually have the like dialogue. You have the dialogue boxes. You have the thing. I've had a font extender thing that really I think does well um, for um, what's the word? Uh, I don't know. It just does well. I think I like having little expressions that I can give the characters. And then this is the part that I think I'm probably most proud of. Hopefully this still works after I did some redoing of how sprites are working. Is that she should face the blue guy when I talk to her. Yes. Okay. Good. So yeah, and then you'll see the little fadeaway. That's like the join party sort of thing. So sort of going to go with like the Mario RPG style where characters sort of like join the party that way. If I'm getting ambitious later, I might do a system where you can have either one of them be the party leader, but it's going to be a pretty small um, game. Like we're talking like these are going to be the only two playable characters, I think, in the entire thing. Um, there's a couple other people that I had made that were more than like standard like Mook enemies that might end up being, I guess, could end up being playable characters, but at this point, I'm kind of, yeah, happy sending this is Godot. Um, and so what you're seeing right now is you're seeing, oh, okay. So yeah, what you're seeing right now is what is going on? Okay, why are there two Godots? What is going on? Okay, Godot and debug. Okay, Godot engine, and then, oh, that's weird. What? Okay, so that's unusual. Um, I didn't see that coming. I, for some reason, thought that it would only be a thing. What? Okay, so maybe I can do it like that, and then I can shut down the other capture. Let's go ahead and delete that one, and then let's see what happens when I do the F5 here. Does it change? No. Well, that's less brilliant than I thought it was for all of this. But hopefully I can maybe do a game capture, and then I can make this one the debug. And maybe I can do that way. Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think. So now let's see what Twitch or what this guy does. Sorry, I'm just kind of checking to make sure. Okay, I think that's the way that I want it. Sorry, that's, oh boy, taking me so long. Okay, so what is next? I need to do something that is not putzing around on Discord. Okay. So this next part's probably going to be a little boring because I'm just going to be coding. So my apologies. Herring, if you want to see anything about Godot, feel free to let me know. There's probably most things that exist about the system that are interesting or cool to me so far are things that I can show you in the context of this project. So if there's anything in particular that you're curious about, please feel free to pipe up in the chat. I'll try to watch for it. And we can kind of go over how all that functions basically. But right now I need to get to focusing on triggering scripts and movement, triggering objects to move via script. And then from there, I can do more things. I also just got the okay from Zephyr that if you wanted to see any of missing cats, I can show you some of how that one functions as well. But for right now, let's go ahead and asset. I need to go to scene, UI. That's action menu. I don't really want that right now. Actually, maybe I do. Okay. Yeah, maybe I need to change special context label. Okay, I need status to be the Y button for that one, probably. And I'm going to start programming the entity to do its own sort of walking. Okay, where does try move come from? Those are states. Is it NPC? I think so, yes. Okay. So, hello. Okay, good. Just making sure my voice can be heard. Um, I hope people can hear me. Am I hoping correctly? Okay. Um, um, oh, good. I did not. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Um, end move, physics process. Wait, did I just do the same thing that I did for hint return? Basic process, kinematic, delta. Oh boy. Okay. I'm just going to assume that I need some of this to also be there. The question is, okay, arrows. So that's the problem. I need to have arrows. Okay, that's what I needed to do. Oh, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to like do a queued instruction or something like that, probably to get the, okay, so we're going to do a little test here. Oh, you get all kinds of weird bugs when you're looking at areas. Okay, so data, map, 121. Okay, so we're going to need to add another NPC. So I'm going to duplicate that and random NPC. And I guess I could just use the other one, but um, I'd rather make a new one. Let me do one more thing here for Notepad. And don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. I don't really need that, don't need that. Probably that'll be enough. And window capture, Notepad. Hey, that was pretty cool. How quickly that came up. This is going to be the place that I edit. So I wouldn't necessarily expect this to be obvious, but basically what I'm doing here is NPC walk test. Basically, I'm programming a certain amount of like stuff that's into that's kind of like ZZT OOP or almost, or like a very rudimentary like text box scripting language. So it tells the game what portrait to use, it tells it what text to use, and it tells it what things. So if I look at the one for like the conversation between Rose and Henry that I showed at the very beginning of this stream, you can see that it's all sort of written out and it tells the game which character to display, which kind of mood they should be in. And there's basically four. There's a normal, a happy, a scared, and there's an angry mood that they can all be in. And then there's a join command that tells the NPC to join the party, quote unquote, or to join the player. Um, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically make a new file. So I'll just do portrait items question mark because I don't really care that much about the NPC in question at this time having their correct display because it's not really going to be for the NPC. It's going to be for just a quick walk test. So walk east. Should I? Yeah, I probably should. It's going to be kind of like a ZT walk east, 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 east. And probably should make it a walk queue, but I don't really know. I need to find a way to. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of pathfinding at some point today, probably. Oh well. Let's just see if we can do an east-east, south-south, or east-south-south, west-west, north-northeast, and get it to do that for right now before we do anything else. So we're gonna save this as walktest.mtrs. I really should have just used text files for this, but I had this vision of like making it do its own like hype markup in um, whatchamacallit in oh man, this is making it do its own markup in Godot or in thingy thing in Notepad. Okay, so I'm going to close that now. Okay, so again, I guess it keeps the window up even when I so I'm just going to close it so that it doesn't keep going. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to program the parser. Oh, hey, actually, I need to do one more thing for this first. Yeah. So you need to have a self versus an NPC ID. So there's a particular thing that I did, which was kind of to preserve my own sanity, which is that whenever an NPC enters the room, that NPC gives its own, let's do the blonde-haired pirate now. Let's do something else, actually. Let's do the, oh, okay. I guess I didn't do that. Okay, so it's one more thing I need to do before I do too much more, which is open recent. Nope, not that one. Here we go. Okay, we're going to export by tag. This is a nice handy script that they had available on the Asprite things. And let's try and reload this now. Asset, entity. I got a blue-haired guy. We'll make him face south. And I don't have an actual portrait for him yet, so I'm not going to worry about that. Items question mark, text box. I am going to walk around you. Now you were south. Otherwise, I will break. So then the goal here is we're gonna have an NPC. It's gonna have a walk queue, and that walk queue is going to determine when the text box engine can stop waiting, or when the scripting interpreter thingy thing that I made can stop waiting for new probably join seems to work pretty well, so I probably don't need to have these debug messages anymore. Walk. Oh. What did I do for face? Oh, man. This is just... rows 1, 2, 1. Huh. Ah. Oh. Oh, it's node versus direction. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so that makes sense. Still not sure why it's still happening, despite that I didn't realize I'd told it to do so, but okay, I'll take it. Okay, shutting down Sprite, doing this. And okay, let's do it. That is not. I'm going to shut that down. And okay, so walk. I think I better array 1 direction q equals line array. I think what I'm hoping to do is to get some battle scripting happening, because it's supposed to be eventually a tactical RPG, and that's going to be a bit of a tall order for a game jam, but I do have 2 months, so it seems like a reasonable goal to at least try to do something unusual and different. Direction q equals line array 2. if, okay, so what I need to do is I need to make sure that every entity has a direction queue. I think I want this to be an entity-based thing because that'll mean that hero and map will both interpret it, or map hero and NPC will both use it, and I want them both to have direction queues. Var queue array equals blank. Type stream texture. Do not understand why it does this, and I'm sure I will be a better programmer if I can eventually find out what's going on there and stop it from happening more. Okay, moving on though. Direction queue. If node directed equals self, okay, so I'm trying to be very descriptive with my names, but basically every one of these things is a scripting ID that it's passed to the global robot, and that global robot is storing a list of everything that you could be telling to do anything. That's about as vague as it's going to be, about as specific as I'm going to get. And then in that process, you can look it up by this like human readable thing. And what I've done is I've done these things you can do in Godot called tools, so tool extensions. And what you can do is you can give an object additional editable parameters. So like you can tell the game which context action the player should see when they look at when they're seeing them. You can tell the script ID. That scripting ID is what's important there. The script file, which is the script file the game will access when they're interacted with, the direction they're facing, and then what their stats are, which for like things like treasure does not matter as much, but for like units, obviously that matters a lot. Anyway, that's what the entity stuff does. But that script ID is what's really important here because basically that's what we're using to look up all of the other things. I realize this is probably way more explanation than anybody actually needed, and you all are probably just here chilling with me while I struggle through attempting to make a battle engine of some complexity in a system I have never made an RPG in before. So we'll see how this goes for me, because I have only made platformers in Godot, and only one of those was Leon. So this will be very interesting for everybody. Let's see. Node directed equals. So the node is like a thing like in a scene. So like in this text box scene, we have like the text box, we have the frame. All those things are actually nodes of the scene. And all of the entities and NPCs are also nodes of their scenes. And what they're doing when they first start is they are actually putting oh, what is the word? They're putting themselves or their actual internal node ID in Godot into the dictionary so that the global robot knows which one to tell instructions to. So if it says like, I want this guy to walk this direction, then that node is going to walk that direction, basically. And the reason I wanted to do it as a queue is because there are some other problems I'd like to avoid regarding how walking works in Godot or in this system. There's probably a few limitations I've already built in here. Probably the biggest one that I can see right now is it's not entirely clear to me that I can actually make that I could have like a town where there were multiple NPCs following their own scripts at the same time. Um, in all honesty, it probably would have made more sense to locate the text box engine separately from the scripting. Although I think for this game jam, it's probably going to be okay, just because I can't imagine that I'm really going to need multiple NPCs doing things that are not coordinated by a central script. If I were making like an actual RPG, like the one that sort of inspired this, which was Horizon's Gate, I would probably want to create a system wherein the nodes could actually do their own thing on their own script. Okay, enough about that. Directed equals, oh, script ID directed. Directed. So script entity ID is the actual entity that called the script to begin with, and then script ID directed is the one that's been passed in through the command here. So I'm going to need to do a quick lookup on Godot string methods. Should be similar to Python. Part of the string. Int from. Okay. I less than. Oh, well, now I know I could have done that. Uh, valid integer. I don't really want most of these. Okay, so length. Okay, so I less than. Script. Oh, direction q dot length. Uh, right. Okay. Let's remember what range does here, because I don't remember. I in range. Okay. Nope, not what I wanted. I am. Okay. It's amazing how many things you don't. Okay. Okay, so you know what? Let's just try something here and see if we can't make it happen here. Because if we can just iterate over the direction queue, that would be ideal. Q uh, Q equals north, south. Oh, wait, I can, okay, yep, that makes sense. Node directed dot direction queue dot add. Oh yeah, maybe it would be better if I did it like that. Okay. Node directed dot append var Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this just because it might not. There's not really a reason. Okay. So let's hope this functions. Now you might seem, why would I be testing this now when I can't actually do much right yet with it? And the reason is that because if something is breaking, I would like to know now that something is breaking. I don't want to know after I've done like a bunch of coding. And something appears to be breaking here. Not sure what, maybe my computer. Well then, uh-huh. Wow, okay. Well, that was something special. I'm still streaming, so that's nice. Question mark. Okay, let's go ahead and while I'm here, I might as well shut down Steam. I don't really need it to be running right this moment. I'm not like in a huge hurry to play crosscode right now. I mean, it's a good game. I just don't really want to play it right now. Did Discord, did it still survive? Okay, so Discord survived, which is good. That's not an everyday thing. We have Steam inexplicably still really involved in my computer's processes, but maybe not anymore. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. I don't actually know what a lot of this stuff is doing here. At some point, I should probably do a bigger search. I appear to still be streaming, so if this is not correct, okay, so let's try it one more time and see if we have a better we have better luck now. Okay, let's see if something's frozen. Okay, so yay, something happened. Something was wrong. Append array, temp array. Let's do that. Okay. And then what I can do for this engine is I can say var, okay, waiting for action. Waiting for action Waiting for choice. Let's do that instead. And NPC, action menu. Okay, not that one. Waiting for choice. Okay. Okay, update menu options, no. Oh, man. I feel like I'm learning a lot of things about things that I should have done differently. And one of them is definitely waiting for oh man. I don't know. I almost feel like more of this should be in global or it should be more split up. I'm not really sure. My ZC and Meg's experience may be a little bit limited for these sorts of things. I just have so much control over how all the stuff works that I'm not 100% sure what the right move is. Because, like, I know a lot of the things that in theory might be correct, but I I don't necessarily think that it's it's that simple here. Like I really don't have the same notion. Okay, so let me, can't believe I actually called this do thing. Oh, okay, that's what this was. This was supposed to be an extension of a sprite frames, and I don't really need, I actually don't really need this scene anymore. Um, um, So that was me trying to make a little thing that would make animated sprite frames for Godot out of a sprite sheet. Turns out it's way easier to use Animation Player and just have a sprite sheet that's consistent. So like if I know which frames are walking north, east, south, west, which frames are attacking, which frames are um, getting attacked, which frames are you basically is know all the frames consistently, and you have a consistent sprite sheet structure for all of the characters, it's um, way easier to do that than to use sprite frames. I was trying to make a tool that would insert them, but that I failed. Um, Basically, that's more or less what happened. um, Thank you for the question, Stale Meme. Okay. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm basically trying to make them have little walk commands they can follow like they would in ZC or Robotic. Um, but I need to entity. So like right now, I'm just going to test it to see. Okay, we're going to shut that. Okay. Okay, so I think what's happened now, and this is good, is we have NPC, and I think we should have direction queue, east, south. Okay, west, north, northeast. I don't understand. Oh, capitalize is different than. Okay, well, I guess that's good to know. String. Uh, Time to risk the help of my computer again by looking up something on the internet while streaming. Uh, oh, two upper. Okay. Uh, okay. That might seem like a weird kind of petty way to do things, but I do actually want it to be correct. Maybe I can make it easier by doing case sensitive, whatever, but if I just convert it, it's fine. Okay, so now what I need is, oh, I have a text message. Okay, well, I'm probably going to end up canceling everything that I had planned for this weekend. Um, uh, oh, that was tempting. Somebody just invited me to go watch It's a Wonderful Life with some of the, um, with a friend and his family and some people from a local um, lay movement that I'm not uh, active in, but I am sort of still involved in, and I consider friends. But I unfortunately already had plans last tomorrow, which I'm already going to be canceling, and I already had uh, I had backup plans that I'm going to have to cancel on the rationale that I will be too sick for the first plans. So the only way this happens is if I am somehow miraculously tomorrow well enough to go out, but can't get out to the other plans that I was already invited to. Oh goodness. Okay. I know that sounds like a brag about how popular I am. Really, I'm I I'm it's not. I'm just I it's more just like, there's just all the things happened on the same day, including the thing that I was personally planning to host that I'm now not hosting. Which reminds me, I need to tell some people that, but I can do that after the stream is over. I think it's gonna hopefully not be too much more hopes and dreams are shattered in the next 2 or 3 hours than will be right now. If you happen to be one of those people who was invited and you're watching this stream now, I'm very sorry you're finding out this way. And I should have told you earlier. I'm sorry. I just was hoping that I would get better today, and then I got up and I had a little bit of a little bit of an upchuck. And then as some of you in the chat, probably almost everybody in the chat knows this by now. I did get some good news later on, which was that Zephyr and I won Metroidvania Month 18 with Missing Cats. So we actually get like a game as a prize if we want it, which is kind of cool. And like there's a class of some kind on something that we can take advantage of. Not quite sure what. Anyway, try move, no. Okay, I just need to remember where try move actually lives. That's the problem. Okay, so what I need is actually for this guy to okay, so the NPC should be doing differently. Maybe. Yes, should be differently. Direction queue dot length size greater than 0. If arrows from queue string match temp. Oh, -1, 0. Oh, shoot. -1. There we go. Arrows from queue, temp. If move success, state equals state dot walk. Oh, yeah, so sorry, I keep pausing to look stuff up because I don't remember how to do stuff. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, so the issue with this is it's going to treat the game, it's going to be treated like a slash north or slash south or slash east or slash west in Diseases Here Megasis. And those of you who are familiar with this know that what this means is if the object can't move in that direction, it's going to freeze. And because that text box is going to be waiting on this object to do the right thing, it's not going to it's not going to continue doing anything at all. So even if this works, which is questionable whether it will, if I accidentally make it go into a wall at any point, that's going to be bad. So I'm going to need an alternate way of doing this. And probably that's going to end up being, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but it'll probably end up being something along the lines of a series of complex checks that tell the object whether it's being shoved or whether it's actually been moved, because being shoved can go into the water, being moved moving itself cannot. That's going to be one thing. And then, so let's try this now. Okay. Okay, so nothing has happened. So that's good to know. So let's check the NPC and see if anything is enlightening to me. Direction cue, east, south, southwest, west, north, northeast. Okay, so that's good. It's correctly added that. But process move. So just moved is false. Okay. Okay, so we know that that is, I just did a little print thing that tells it okay, well that's the problem. I had a value that worked out well. Basically I had arrows from queue returning a value that I never saved to anything. And that's a problem. And now that I've done that, it actually worked really well. Okay. Okay, so we need to establish that this guy is going to be waiting on the action though. So we will be var waiting for actions, bool equals, not bool, int equals 0. Don't need to worry about that one, it's instant. Oh, for Pete's sake, okay. So plus equals 1. And let's see if join hero waiting for actions minus equals 1. Okay. Okay, so choosing is just a Boolean that I can just use. I don't need to use another Boolean. That's good for me to know. I hope this doesn't shatter anybody's just all around, you know, illusions of my brilliance. as a game dev, because I just don't know if I could handle that right now. Okay. Now the question is, how do I tell the entity NPC if dot size equals 0? There we go. That'll free me up to action the entity is taking, box script. The current action so yeah, Godot is really powerful, but it takes some getting used to. I had mentioned to TD Pro the other day that I was thinking about doing a game called that I went called Caper in Godot, and he was like, "Well, you know, I'd really go for Card Knights more than that," and I think I'm inclined to agree, which was a Megazeus card game that I worked on for some time. It's not as complex or balanced as Zaz, for sure, but it has its own like sort of thing. The big thing with Card Knights is that it's literally only multiplayer. Like I was gonna build like a dirt bot at some point that would at least like generate a random deck and like play randomly from it, or maybe like try to like do some very rudimentary AI. But Robert Pragged, kind of, but like Proto Zaz really is the Chandelar and the Slay the Spires of the world. Card Knights probably was slightly more standard. Like basically all the cards had a power curve of approximately 4 stats per card, and there weren't really like any ways to get an edge. Like it was all about um, the it was all about building the best deck you could out of the power curve cards that existed, and then everyone losing to a person who is not super involved with the ZT Maxis communities, but who like several of the no, I never did. Basically, you had to play it over Dropbox. We used to play on TD Pro's Dropbox. That was how we made those things happen. So basically, it was like a play by email game, but it was play by Dropbox. Um, like if you're really curious, I could probably add you to the Dropbox that had it on there at some point, because basically what you do is everybody goes on and they play off of the same Megazeus file from their computers, and then the game reads and writes files to transmit turns from one player to another. Okay, well, it's not what this stream is really about, but I will grab a quick thing. And if you want to ask me more questions about Card Knights while I'm trying to do this, I'm happy to answer them. I'm serious. Like I would be happy to answer any more Card Knights questions if you're curious. But just because this is a newer card game and one that I think you should all play, I'm also going to drop the plug for Zaz in there. Please, everybody play Zaz. Um, Card Knights may eventually come back as like a Godot title or something. It's very simple in what it does, but no, you don't need to ask him another time. You can ask him now if you want. Like I'm happy to spout off about Card Knights any day of the week. Um, I think I remember most of the mechanics well enough that I can basically recite them from memory. If they're not something that's already answered on the sheet that I linked to you. But that also gives you some basic ideas about setup and stuff. Um, like, and if TD Pro were here in chat today, he'd probably be able to answer them at least as well and possibly better than me in some cases because he was better at the game than me, I think, at the end of the day. Yeah, it was very simple. It basically just kept it very ASCII based, almost like an old BBS game was kind of the look I was going for a while. And I think there's like one or two exceptions, like the mouse itself is an exception. Um, but yeah, if you look over that and you decide you want to get added to the quote unquote server for Card Nights that exists, I would be happy to get your Dropbox thing added. And you could give that a shot. What is going on down here? Something is happening in here. Oh, okay. Oh, that was your congratulations, bot. That's thank you. Thank you for congratulating us on the winning the Metroidvania month 18. Okay. So battle action equals false. Okay, so we need to know that it's saying to the text box action. Okay, so node directed dot text box action equals true. So now I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to build a thing that says if we have waiting for actions greater than 0, we're not doing anything else yet. But I think I'm going to make that triggered by a special command because I think that wait bar waiting on queued equals actions queued equals true. Bool equals false. Actions queued is true, so that's good. And the reason I can do this is because then I can tell multiple NPCs to move in multiple directions at once if I really need to, and I can make them do that before I, and then I can have it, yeah, that's what I can do. That's the good idea. Okay, waiting for choice, return. I really should write down like the syntax for these commands because that seems like it would be a good idea to know what those are going to be because I'm only about 2 weeks into this jam, but it would just be ideal if I didn't forget the scripting language that I'm sort of making up on the fly for this exact game. Actually, better just do that now. Choose choice 1 script, choice 2 script. I actually ended up doing something similar to this for 7-Day Roguelike this last year. I wrote a little scripting language for these like choose your own adventure text things, and it became very complex because it was basically cards, which were sort of in between like a page of a CYOA book and an area in an RPG, and characters could move between cards as the story progressed. And it was really cool, but it honestly, ultimately, probably didn't really pan out. Give inventory amount. I'm not actually sure why I'm making people do the whole like actual command thing, but maybe it just feels better to me if I yeah, that's the right word. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to take walk test and we need to wait. Text box. Okay, so now I need to do face. What was the actual syntax of this supposed to be though? I thought I had. Did I really not do anything, not leave anything here that tells me what the actual syntax of face is? Wow. Okay. Good job. I just can't believe I mean I can believe that I would do that. I just am just like really uh mod equals line array 3. I don't know what I did there. I'm gonna have to actually come back to this one later. Uh, true. You are doing a text box action. Uh, Bob, yes, this is for RPG Mania 3rd edition, which is a 2-month game jam. Uh, because I'm insane and apparently I don't know how to stop. Um, so I'm doing it again. Um, I also wanted to use it to prototype some ideas that I had because so I've been watching a lot of Star Trek with my dad this year, and we watched Enterprise. And while we were watching Enterprise was also the time of the year that I was most addicted to Horizon's Gate, which really made me want like Horizon's Gate but in space. Um, which I'm sure I'm sure there's a joke occurring. There's a joke that occurred to at least one person when I told him this, and I'm sure it's occurring to some of you now, but I'm not calling it that. Um, and okay, delta if actions queued and okay. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, good. Okay, so that's good. Okay, okay, right on, right on, right out, right out, right out. Got visible. Okay, so I'm going to build a couple of other commands here, I think, just to be on the safe side. Should be pretty straightforward. Okay. And okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so I need to do something a little differently here that did not occur to me. So I need to set the check at a different place. Uh, yeah, I need to do something different here. This has to be, nope, dang it. Wait, no, it's okay, okay, it's okay. Ugh. Okay, so that part's done. And I need to, I'm just gonna put that guy into a thing, like a text box here, text, notepad, that's the word. Basic process kinematic delta. Goal reached. Okay, here we go. End move. There we go. That's what I wanted. Text box action equals false. Okay, let's try it that way now. See if that works better. Okay, now we're frozen. Great. So we have successfully moved something around to the point where to the point where okay, I need to search for goal reached. Oh, I superseded the goal. Okay. Yep, got it. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Okay, so maybe I need to um, do something a little differently. But how do I? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm going to look for. So, action menu, text box. Yeah, it's really impressive like how extendable Godot is. Like, I mean, granted, a lot of this same stuff I could do in Megazeus. Like, it wouldn't be hard to do. Um, it's just it's interesting to me how yeah, if line array to optional show. If line array 1 equals oh yeah, which yes, I am still going. This is going to be a bit of a process. I'll probably be at about another hour, um, just kind of trying to. I mean, I was going to hope to do a battle engine stuff, but I'm actually just ended up working on scripting stuff because, like this isn't like OHR RPG CE or RPG Maker. Presumably has some kind of scripting built in, and I don't. So I have to make my own, which is also going to be important for the battle stuff once I start getting these guys AI and having them do stuff. In case anybody's curious, I know I've linked a bunch of stuff. Itch.io, uh, Zensgate. Um, in case anybody's curious, another game, the game that inspired this, in combination with Star Trek Enterprise, was Horizon's Gate, which is linked right there. So while you're playing Zaz, you can also try out Horizon's Gate, which is an excellent tactical RPG from Rad Codex. Um, which makes me kind of sad because I've seen their new thing and it doesn't look quite as appealing to me. But Horizon's Gate was a pretty solid like RPG with a lot of seafaring stuff, some trading, and just a lot of nifty tactical RPG things that I really enjoyed and thought were like it just had a lot of really good ideas. So I'm kind of been messing with some of the same ideas, thinking about wanting to make something out of spacefaring and taking inspiration from Horizon's Gate about how to do that. I probably could just work around this by hiding it and then immediately, like I could hide it and then I could change the text. No, I can't do that. Nope, I don't want to do that. 'Cause then I'd have to, okay, whatever. 1 equals show, array, false 2, and then content.text equals number 2. Oh, unexpected assignment. Okay. Yeah, Godot is pretty awesome, but there are a lot of things that you have to know. Okay, so let's see if this now works. Or if I broke something. Oh boy, I definitely broke something. That is a little jarring, because the thing is, like, it closes immediately on my end, even if it didn't close immediately on your end. It doesn't just hang. It like literally just like jumps me out of the thing. Okay, so that was a little startling for me. Non-existent function split on base int. Oh, okay. That's what I did. Okay, let's try it again. It's like one of those things, like when the toast comes up out of the toaster, like you're always kind of like waiting for it to happen, and then like if it catches you off guard, it's really unpleasant, even if you're I mean, you know what I mean, like it's just really unpleasant to have the toast pop up when you're okay. Let's do that. That's good. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's not really ideal to me, because that's still giving it a delay. That's still like barely able to see the previous text. It might have to be good enough for right now, just because I don't know that I feel like trying to fix it right at this moment. And I should probably just make sure I didn't break anything with how this works. Let me just check the NPC and the join. Nope, that's not right. State.state.join. I don't think that's going to happen in, oh, you know what, actually, maybe it will happen in battle, so I'd better text box action. Battle action pass for right now. It's probably okay. And okay, so we need to change the text box to use the new thing. Waiting for actions plus equals 1. Action equals true. Okay, let's try that. Oh boy, that's not good. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. So now we're going to see if this dialog still works. Okay, it appears to still work. So that's good. Okay, well that is good. Um, Now the question is, how crazy do I want to get with the battle orders and things? That's really vague. Um, because at some point I need to start actually scripting a battle, and we need to find out how that's going to work, and it's going to be similar to how the text box script works, except that it's going to be for battle, obviously. Um, and that's going to be uh, a whole other adventure that I do want to get started on. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Okay, so first of all, I, of course, have the desire to start defining animations in the entity script to put off actually programming a battle engine as long as humanly possible, because they are a lot of fun when they're actually kind of fun when you're playing them, but they are, I think, less fun to program than basic platforming most of the time. I think it's less interesting to program platforming than it is to program an RPG, or less interesting to program a basic battle engine than it is to program basic platforming. In part because there's less iteration that you can do, like at the immediate. Like when you're programming a platformer, you can kind of like do this and be like, okay, how does this jump arc feel? And you kind of get to play the game while you're making it a little bit more. But if you're doing a battle engine, you have to do um, a lot of things to sort of accommodate that that sort of base complexity being so much higher than it otherwise would be. Um, but yeah, that's basically like we're gonna be starting on this, and that's gonna be this is gonna be real interesting here, because I have not uh, done I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so
Hey, hey,
Hey, how's it going?
doing pretty well.
Okay, can you say something? I want to see if you're showing up on the thing.
Uh,
Oh,
like,
yes, you're here.
am I cool?
Yes. So everybody, this is Wervin from the Megasees community. Some of
Yeah.
you probably know. He's been the sort of the man
Well,
Friday of testers. Um, I think
all right. I need
you
to
and
actually get Twitch up here.
yeah, you and Will have probably been the most insanely supportive people
Oh,
of the last several Zephyrin Kairos projects. I mean, everybody in this chat basically has been insanely supportive. But Wervin has tested like everything that we've made in the last several in like the last year basically.
that feels about right. Yeah.
And also gave me some much needed cross code coaching on Monday
Mm,
morning during that stream.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, what you missed was we have the ability to give a northeast southwest direction cue to an object
Okay.
now, like we do in ZT or Megazeus. We don't have a try
Mm,
ability, so if it gets hung on something, the entire game will freeze and there will be no recovery. So
all right.
I'm going to need a failsafe on that one at some point.
Uh,
And in the battle engine, I'm thinking what's going to happen. It's fairly obvious that if you run into water, you should fall in the water, and if you run into
all right.
a wall, you should take damage. But that has not happened yet,
Mm,
because the battle engine
gotcha.
does not exist yet.
Cool. Oh,
um,
stuff to work on.
oh yes. So now I need to main. Let's go ahead and create a new script battle. I'm going to call this battle script or battle. I don't know. I can't. I'm going to have to call it like battle mode. I can't call it BattleBot. That's just too. That just. I just can't call it BattleBot. It's just too much. Okay, extends node, function ready. I'm going to need so many different variables for this. Yeah, if anybody can see this already, you probably can. But this is a mess, right? The global is the one that's like the cleanest looking. Is I have item IDs, I have player inventory, which is literally just like 63 slots, I think, or something of inventory, and then like I have script IDs for like keeping the script IDs for each thing, but like it is not at all like organized. Like if I look at entity, this is a mess of like variable definitions. And the reason it's such a mess is because I keep adding things when I think of them that they need to be added. I don't add them like, I didn't like have a plan coming in, which is a problem. So I know, for example, I'm going to need a variable. What am I going to need the variable of? Something ridiculous. Variable turn queue, probably. Let's call it that. And I'm trying to be strict about my typing for the variables, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, I still haven't played with Godot at all, so I don't know what its language is like.
I've been told it's like Python, and that seems to be
That's
bearing
cool.
out so far.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it.
And it's working out pretty well. I've been able to do a lot of extendable scripting things like I did with Megazeus. So you can probably see on the stream now, I just pulled up one of the scripts. This is the same conversation that Henry and Rose have in like the video that I've sent, or I may have sent. That basically just tells, you know, what's the portrait like, what's the text, all that other stuff.
Yep.
And I even made a little Notepad++ thing that'll highlight the appropriate words, but I don't know if I'm gonna. It's not really that. I mean, it might be a little bit useful for some times, but
maybe. But yeah,
it's not really very much. The nice thing is if you decide that you have the time and the desire to go through with trying to translate anything, you will be able to more or less, I think we'll be able to just keep more or less like a JP folder like we did with Lover's Loop.
Right.
Like with Lover's Loop, where it'll basically be the exact same scripting, except that all the English will be replaced with Japanese.
Nice.
Or all the English that's not a command will be.
Right. Yeah. Still need to finish that care set.
Oh, yeah.
But I was very close to actually finishing that, so.
Oh yeah, that reminds me that once you finish that character set, I think I'm going to need to go through and there's one thing in Lover's Loop that is still not good, which is I think everything's fine mechanically except that when you dash with Nathan, I think I'm just going to change the mechanics and have him try to, when at all possible, just try to push up from where the dash ended instead of to the same height, because then if you dash over a thing and it looks like you're gonna land on it, there's no danger of you not landing on the thing, basically.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll see how that. I'll have to cross that bridge when I come to it.
Right.
So let's see. I've got a turn queue. What else do I need here? Probably a lot of things. Because I need to have an entity that can take a turn. Oh, hey, actually, var waiting for actions equals, oh, wait, bool equal, not bool, int equals 0, var. So yeah.
I did briefly comment on this, but yeah, congratulations on winning the most recent
oh yeah,
competition.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked to see that we actually like pulled that off. Like, there was actually some fairly stiff competition in my opinion. Like, probably about 5 or 6 games that could have been worthy of that first place.
I know.
So
I mean, like I thought the game was good, but it wasn't like, wow, this is, unparalleled kind of stuff. So,
yeah. Well, there was a game that beat us out in a couple of categories. I think Evernight beat us
okay,
out in a couple of different categories. I don't know if you played
okay.
that one.
No, yeah, I
Okay.
didn't play many of them, but
I would I would recommend Evernight. I would say that it was thank you, Bob. He says yes, it was the highest standard. The Yeah, Evernight was pretty good. The controls were a little awkward, but like once you get past that, it's pretty great, I think.
You talking to somebody?
Yep. I'm on a stream with Bitcoin.
Oh, enjoy. Yep. I was just curious. Enjoy. I was like, who's he talking to?
I mean, she's certainly welcome to join us if you guys.
Yeah.
But direction
All right, let
queue.
him out.
Array. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. No, I need the text box one. Sorry, I've got two different types of scripting happening here, and I'm hoping that basically I'm hoping to steal some of the same. Like there are several things that I did wrong with scripting in this setup.
Mhm.
Like there's only one central scripting controller, so only one script can actually run at a time, which is
Uh-oh.
yeah, that seems like that's a problem that I didn't think about at the time, and
Yep.
probably won't be an issue for this game because this game is going to be really low impact. Like even when there's a battle, there's only going to be one central script running the show at a given time. But
Sure. Yeah,
it's
generally
still
that's gonna limit what you can do.
yeah, exactly. Like if I ever want to make an RPG where NPCs can each move around a town independently, I will need to change this this methodology.
Some kind of threading, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actions queue. That's the one that I wanted. Here we go. The question is, yeah, I think I'm going to have this, and then we're going to go ahead and, wait, why wouldn't I call it Battle Engine? I can just do that, for Pete's sake. Battle Engine. And I don't think it really needs to be its own engine, because I think it can just make the other, yeah, I think it can just make the other guys do stuff. If I need to have it be a scene later, I think I can fix that pretty easily. Editor settings, no, project settings, there we go. Data, scene, main. Yeah, I definitely did call it GlobalBot in a somewhat of a, it's obvious. I have to give some nod to my Megas user history, right? Like I can't
Right.
not acknowledge that history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wervern also beat Missing Cats, the really, really, really punishing mode that I made on request for somebody on the Metroidvania Month Discord. Where
That's true. I can link that if you want.
yes, please do.
Yeah, I left that unlisted since it's awesome. Care to show everyone, but
yes, if you'd like.
oh yeah. No.
It's basically it's one heart and one life. So if you've played Missing Cats, you normally get an unlimited number of lives to beat the game, and you respawn at save points. If you lose the 3 hearts that you have, but in this version, there's only 1 heart, and there are no save points aside from the one that's created when you start a new game. So if you get hit once, you are restarting the entire game. And he went through and beat like the whole thing with like all
the extras.
Yeah, you also 100%ed it, which was very impressive. It was because that was not, I don't think that was even specified, and then you just did it anyway in like 7 minutes.
I just assumed that it's part of the challenge.
Assumed that it was part of the challenge.
Well, doing it without that would be easy. Like getting some of the little side yarn stuff is what's actually difficult.
That is true. Yeah.
So
I'm still very proud of there being 1 yarn that actually caused. I mean, granted, this was how we know, because like there's 1 yarn in the game that's like it was originally a main path room, and you guys can thank Zephyr and Wervin for that not being a main path room anymore, because
that was the one we actually had trouble with.
Yeah, that was the only one. Like Zephyr.
Any trouble with.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, if Wervin had trouble with it, that is probably a good indicator. And Zephyr told me also that it was like 20 times harder than everything else in the game. And so I was like, okay, well, here's the solution. This is going to be an optional room.
There you go.
And that way I can justify its existence.
Nah, I'm glad you kept it in, and then in some respect, but yeah, making everyone do that would be much.
Oh yeah.
Everyone always complains that you're getting too hard in the competition.
Yeah, and I think that there's a certain point to that. Like this game is probably the easiest of the three, but it's also the one that eases you in the best. Like
Yeah.
I think One Hero's Trash was getting there, but like Rest Stop did not ease people into the difficulty at all.
No, just boom, go.
Yep.
You don't have a gun to start with.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing was we had Megas and Will both went the wrong way.
Right.
Like towards the dash upgrade, like they damage boosted through an enemy because they didn't find the gun, and that's a sign that we could have done more to convey
where you were
everything.
supposed to go up front. Yeah.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
the only reason I knew immediately was because I'd seen you, like some of the early stuff you were doing on it, so I kind of knew where you placed it.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to tell now, but yeah.
Okay, so what am I doing with these guys? How do I? Oh yeah, that's interesting. ID array maybe. Pass. Okay, start battle, ID array. What am I thinking? ID array. Oh, yes, okay, that's what I need to do. Okay. And I probably need to have a trick. Oh, yes, that's what I can do. I can use 112 as my map for starting battles. Let's see. 112, yes. That'll be easy. Just make a command called battle, and that just starts a battle. Oh, wait. I need to battle. Okay, I think I need to. Yes, that's what I need to do. Guard 112. 1. Guard 112. There we go. And so I think the eventual plan here, and this is not going to be what I'm going to do initially, but the initial plan here is basically you're going to wander up to these guys. They're going to ask if you want to fight. You're going to say yes, because of course, and then they're going to start fighting you. And eventually what's going to happen is whatever character is leading the party, which currently is just blue guy, and then red girl may pop out at some point of like basically I'm thinking the idea is that once you initiate the battle, you'll sort of have like an acceptable place to put your units. Like there'll be like a defined place that you can put them, like within reason and pathfinding. And then
so this is going to be like a tactics game then?
Yeah, that's the idea. I took a lot of inspiration from Horizon's Gate, so I like the idea of like being able to push enemies into water and stuff like that. And like not necessarily being able to rely on strength because like strength alone, because like attacking from the front, I think I did the calculation.
Sort of a positioning thing.
Yeah.
Terrain features. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Into the Brink.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Into the Breach would be a really good example for sure. What did I do? Yeah, so the calculation is essentially everybody has a strength stat, and it's your strength, and then the defense is just half of the enemy strength. And then if you are behind the enemy, it multiplies the result by 2. If you are in front of the enemy, it divides the result by 1.25, which should be about 80% of what you would know. So it's 80% if you're in front of
Yeah.
them, and if you're actually like get the kind of the sneak attack, quote unquote, you're supposed to get 2 times the damage that you would normally get.
Gotcha.
Which, since the strength is like, you know, like 6 or whatever, and the HP is like 8, that's pretty devastating.
Oh yeah.
But
Sounds cool.
I hope so. I mean, it's not going to be. I'm hoping it'll be impressive for a jam, although I know it wouldn't be like impressive as anything professional.
Well, sure, but these things are for.
Yeah.
So experimenting with ideas.
Yeah, exactly. 10, 4, 2, 6. What is this? 10, 4, 2, 6. Okay. Let me make sure. And actually, these guys, 8, 4, 1, 5. Actually, that seems pretty reasonable. 8, 4, 1, 5. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Speaking of battle systems, I did start taking a look at Chained Echoes, which you linked to me
Oh yeah?
not long ago. So yeah, it's got a pretty interesting concept so far. More typically turn-based JRPG.
Did you start playing it then?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I played through basically what I guess would be the intro. I mean, not the intro, but like enough so that you actually got a reasonably complete party and have an idea of what the story is and where it's going to be actually going.
Oh.
So yeah, yeah, enough to get through a few bosses and some character levels.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, so the battle system is set up such that your typical HP and tech points or what have you refresh out of combat. So you never have to worry about topping up health or mana outside of combat. You have the tools that you're given to start with, which means that you can focus more on taking each battle as a puzzle, and they can be tuned harder instead of just being crash mobs.
Oh.
So that if you're planning it right, it's okay to use all of your resources on something because those are the resources you have. And then it's also set up where you're trying to stick to a flow of battle. There's like a meter where you're trying to keep a pointer in a certain range because that's optimal for it makes all of your skills cost half as much. And if you get it too high, then you take super amounts of damage. And you can use like specific skill types. Like every skill has a type, whether it's physical or elemental or a buff or a debuff, that kind of thing. And if you use a specific skill type at a certain time, it will reduce your meter versus increasing it. So, yeah, it has an interesting flow. It's been fun so far.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm glad it's working out. I mostly was like, well, this seems like a pretty I mean, it seemed like a nice throwback like in terms of the pixel art and the style. Like I'm not exactly like Crosscode. I think I prefer the look of a game like Crosscode a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like it still was obviously a lot of love went into those pixels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think they definitely did a lot more with the art in Crosscode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been nice. It's very much got a whole lot of Chrono Trigger throwbacks in it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I told you. Maybe I didn't. The way I learned to do a 6-frame run cycle was actually looking at the Leah sprite from Crosscode.
Right. Yeah.
That's more or less like where I learned it from.
You did tell me that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're start battle. Okay, I need to make an array. So var battle unit array equals, oh boy, let's see.
Still waiting for them to have an alpha demo of their new project. I don't know why.
Are you on the list for the alpha?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Is this because you were such a big supporter of Crosscode, or is it just the separate list that you happen to be on?
No, it's because I'm enough of a supporter that basically on the, have a direct message line to the developers. So yeah, we just got to know each other over the course of that development. So yeah.
Nice. What am I doing? Oh, right, that's what I need. Text box. Okay. There we go. Split false 2. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's what we need. Array line dot split battle.
By the way, I don't know if you've realized this, but Stream seems to be just showing your notepad
Oh, my
document.
notepad. Brilliant. Okay, yes. That's because unless I actually, yeah. So now people can see what I'm coding in real time and can tell me about all the horrible mistakes I'm coding myself to.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually I might try to archive, not like the audio necessarily, but just try to archive some of the footage of this
Mhm.
and maybe do like a really quick devlog. I'm like, hey, here's what happened, and here's what, here's the progress that's been made.
Yeah.
Trying to plug this battle engine into a thing and make it an actual workable thing. Battle engine dot start battle unit array. Unit array dot append. Okay, so yeah, the nice thing is I had the scripting ID system already, which is basically anything that any node that enters the scene, like any NPC or player node
Mhm.
or player character node that enters the scene, immediately has a basically immediately has a what's the word? A an ID that gets assigned to it, like it gets
Yeah.
assigned an ID via the global, and then the
Mhm.
global robot knows what the scripting ID is. But the thing about the scripting ID is that I can also use it and reference it for the battle engine. So if its ID in the script is Bob or whatever, I can just reference it again as part of the battle engine so that the battle engine knows
That's cool.
via that ID which node to reference. Yeah, which I don't exactly know why I didn't just pass the node in directly, but maybe I think it's partly because like I don't have a way of knowing what the node ID is going to be like when I'm writing the script. But if I know that the Bob is the script ID, then I can write the script and say tell Bob to move east, and then it'll tell Bob to move east no matter what node Bob has been assigned in that session, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No. Symbolic links are important. You're working with a lot of objects.
oh man. And yeah, this is probably the most ridiculous thing that I've done since the 7-day roguelike, where I essentially built a choose your own adventure scripting engine.
Yeah.
And that one did not pan out as much. I think this one will probably pan out to a more complete project, maybe partly because I have more than a week to do it. Battle engine,
That
start
helps.
battle. Unit array, pen hero. Array dot line, array line. Oh, line array 1. And what is oh yeah, split. Okay. Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I'm looking something up on the Godot dots because okay, split. Okay, so I need to have that be 0 so that it can take on as many entity IDs as it needs to, which hopefully won't be that many, but you know. Okay. Oh, well, that'll be interesting because then I have to like make a UI that actually like displays who's going next and stuff like that. Fun.
Mm.
Let's see. String NPC entity. Okay, yep, this is what I want. Int equals 4, maybe? Yeah, let's do int equals 4. And then the hero will be int equals 5. I can. Okay. ID array, turn queue. Oh. Right, tactical RPGs, you have to like move things around in queues. That's going to be a pain. I don't know if you've ever seen like, I mean, it's kind of like a system for roguelikes. Like you have to be willing to, you know.
Yeah.
And okay. Close that window right now. Thank you for telling me about the notepad thing, by the way. I would not have noticed
Oh
that
yeah,
until it was like way too.
That's cool.
It's great I'm getting all this video and it's going to be edited into like a 5-minute time lapse. Okay. No. Okay. Oh wait, I need to do one more thing here because I need to have a way of closing the text box, but not. Active bool equals false. So do they have any idea what Project Terra is going to be like aside from looking a little tiny bit like Crosscode, but not quite?
I mean, yeah, they've been working out story stuff and you know, the way the combat system's going to work. There's a lot of concepts on that. Um, so they're doing stuff with like different weapon types as a way to variegate the field of combat. with elements again, but working slightly differently. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where I don't really know how it differs until I get a chance to play with it. I don't expect that, the slice they're going to give me is going to have like a fully featured set of combat moves. It's probably going to be more like Crosscode started, where it was just the basic loop and maybe a couple of arts. But you've seen some of the videos that they've put out, which look really cool, and it's got more of a fantasy-esque story, so it's not like meant to be any sort of a sequel. It's more like a spiritual successor.
Right.
But from what I can tell of the story, it really resembles Terranigma.
Okay.
So it seems to be about, restoring a dead world kind of a thing. Yeah, I have some idea of what it may eventually be called, but I'm gonna hold on to that because that was sort of bounced off of me internally.
That makes sense.
So yeah, looking forward to it. Sounds like they're making good progress on it.
Oh man. See, this would have been a lot simpler if I'd just been like, I'm making a regular RPG and there's not going to be anything resembling positioning or tactics in it at all. I think that's the only thing the main thing that's ambitious about this project is that I'm trying to make it a short tactical game in like 2 months. Yeah, Project Terra does sound cool, and like, to be honest, like, because that's my main point of comparison, like my main comparison with Crosscode is that it looks kind of like Chrono Trigger and Leah kind of looks like Luca to me. That's my main point of comparison.
Like Luca.
A little bit, yeah. I think as far as characters from Chrono Trigger, that's probably the one she most resembles.
I guess I don't know if I see it. I mostly just, you say Luca and I think goggles. So
No, yeah. Well, I thought.
or I think it was someone else.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of Luca.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Luca presents more of a nerd.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's for sure.
Yeah, but I've been appreciating actually in that game. Crosscut does something that I think a lot of Metroidvanias could stand to do more. Even though it's not one, it does something I think that's really interesting, which is that you have a very interesting set of mobility abilities that are very like basic and very easy to learn how to use. But then like the game constantly presents you with the how do I get over there puzzle in order to find the treasure. And I know this because I've been obsessively hunting treasures in Gaia's Garden to avoid having to advance the main story. Not because I don't want to finish the game, but because I don't really feel like learning how to block those guys right now in the dojo.
Oh boy.
Even though I had a little bit of success in it in my initial attempts, it's just like I feel like I wanted to hunt treasure and I was going to try and get these sandals, but then it turns out like one component that you need for the sandals is to beat the dojo, so never mind, I guess. But in the process, I'm really appreciating just the sheer amount, like and probably appreciated this before, but really appreciating just the sheer amount of like stuff that you have to like that, just that it's easy to work with basically. Global ID, script IDs.
A lot of options in terms of stuff, and they played around a lot with like just environmental traversal puzzles and figuring out how to hide things cleverly. I know, like for example, the behavior of edges, like cliff edges or edges on pits, used to be the reverse of what it is now, where if you got close to an edge, you would tend to slide off of it.
Oh.
Whereas now, final game, it pushes you back on, which is one of those subtle little changes that ends up making a huge difference. And I think it was after they made that change that they did a lot of the stuff in Autumn's Fall, which has you running on little narrow walls like all the time. So,
Mm.
and it's actually, not a giant headache to do so because you don't tend to accidentally fall off of them. So,
Al Turing Machine, I am working on an RPG for a game jam. That's basically what it is. It's going to be a very short tactical game about hunting treasure on a very small island. Like if you look at the map data, I basically got a map that I'm trying to build of like the basic, and at the risk of spoiling some things, this is basically just made up of the scenes from the game pasted together into a single map. So it's not very much right now, but it is something at least. That's basically it. It's not much. So right now I'm working on this one right here, and starting to program an actual battle engine so that this guy can fight these guys. And then there's another character that he's supposed to have with him who's supposed to be able to sort of spawn out. On which platform? I mean, Godot is the platform I'm using for this. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry. Oh, no, this is going to be like desktop and like HTML5. So like probably there'll be like a Windows build and a Linux build and a web build, and that's going to be probably it. There might be a Mac build too, but it's going to look like a virus because everything that you don't pay money for, I believe,
right.
on a Mac looks like a virus.
Well, yeah, I mean, the stuff that you send me looks like a virus to
Even on
Windows
Windows,
Defender.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Windows Defender is a little hyperactive about that stuff.
Yeah.
But like Apple's like so, I don't even know what to call it exactly. I have some feelings about how they do things at Apple
Mm-hmm.
that are not entirely positive and maybe best.
I don't have many positive feelings about Apple, but maybe for different reasons.
People are not going to be able to contribute to this on GitHub. No. Basically, there will be myself, and then there's another friend of mine who has sort of an open invite for right now. I'm not going to pressure to do anything right now, but he's got a sort of an open invitation, at least until things get too far along for this to be feasible, that he would join on Sound. And Wervin has who's the guy who's also on this voice call, has like an open invite to do some to help with like design or some sort of hobbyist translation stuff, because it would be kind of fun to release an RPG that has 2 languages.
Yeah, that was what you hoped for Lover's Loop.
Yeah.
It'll eventually happen.
Yes, and when that one does, it will have 3 languages, I believe.
Oh, that's right. You got was it Italian?
Yep, Italian.
Oh, did remember that right?
Yeah, I'm now realizing if Lancer sees this, that may be a spoiler for him, but hopefully that's not too terrible.
Oops.
Yeah. Of course, I now have made it obvious. Oh dear. Okay. But yeah, no, I don't keep a lot of open GitHub projects. Eventually, I might make an open platformer base for just to have something that I know that I can use for game jams like Metroidvania Month, because I know it wouldn't be unfair to reuse a platformer base that I've made publicly available to everybody. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it'll go. The plan is to finish this project as a jam release. So what I want to do is to be able to put this out as a game jam, and for it to have a somewhat reasonable chance of placing, or maybe even doing well, like winning in a game jam of admittedly a smaller variety. So the plan is to finish a project, but the plan is that it will be very short. So we're talking probably 4 to 6 battles that it would actually have in it, and only 2 main characters. So it's not going to be a long project. It's partly just to test into waters, for basically like, can I do this as like a small thing, and also trying to do some stuff with the UI that I think would be beneficial to have. Like basically a game that it wouldn't actually make you feel horrible to play it on a controller, even if it is a tactical RPG. And I feel like that is a thing that is not as easy to do. Like it's obviously grid based, so that's going to make it easier.
I don't think
But
a tactical RPG would be that bad.
you wouldn't think so, but like once you get like I'm gonna want to do mouse stuff, I think too. But like
Oh yeah,
once
I
you
always do.
but once you get but I want it to be playable like on an Xbox controller, like if I'm feeling lazy that day, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, the answer is yes. The plan is to release this thing. It's going to take a couple months because, yeah, these types of games, Turing Machine, they were a lot of there were a lot of things like this on the SNES and whatnot. And that is more or less the space that I live in. Well, I'm glad see, you would release the Switch. I don't have that sort of
You don't have the
influence.
dev kit for that. Yeah.
No, yeah, there's a lot of things that would need to be in place before you do that. If I ever got a game on Switch, I'd be pretty happy with myself. But I
That'd
think
be
that
cool.
it's probably, if I ever get a game on Switch, it's probably going to be a platformer, because there's almost no way I'm never unless this works out much better than I anticipated. I don't think it's going to be like a quality where trying to even do a console release of any kind would be really uh, uh, profitable. Like Steam, maybe, if it got to that point. But even then, like there's going to be a free version of it floating around for a game jam, because I don't really like the idea of closing things off that were free and then making them paid afterwards.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess the idea would be you take this as a prototype for a
yeah,
larger and longer project.
exactly. And if I did that, then that would be different. I would feel much better about doing that as a
Yeah.
paid project. But as it is, this is going to be a free game, basically.
Yeah.
Um, battle. Okay, so battle ID and battle and ID array. Speed equals. Are there any used libraries? There is one add-on which, if you give me a moment here, I can probably link for if you're curious. There's a Godot add-on called Texture Fonts. I would highly recommend it if you're interested in making a game that uses a font from a bitmap. So like, and by that I don't mean a bitmap font, because I don't know exactly how to define that at this point. But like, if you have a font and you want it to be in the game, but the font is in an image as it is, so you're not like a true type font or whatever, you're just a bitmap font. Texture fonts is actually really helpful, I think. And it's an MIT licensed thing, so like Godot itself, it's pretty unrestricted as far as being a developer, what you can do with it. And you basically just plop it in and it works like an add-on, and you can build the font resource from the bitmap file that you already have, or the PNG file that you already have, versus versus anything else. So if you're interested in using that, that's sort of what I worked with to make the fonts happen. The last game I used, I just had a true type font that was an open font license, and so it wasn't like an original one like this one, because I didn't feel like figuring out how to do that at that time. Okay. Battle ID. Oh, how do I want to do this? Let's see. Turn count, no. No, I don't want that. I feel like I need to know. Bar. Turn and equals 100. And okay, that is going to be tricky. Global dot plot turn queue. You fell in love with OpenGL at university? I mean, I I am not somebody who can really say much about anything in terms of game dev tools. I've used MegaZoo, ZZT, and Godot and Game Maker Studio. And that's basically it as far as at any length worth mentioning. Dabbled a bunch of other things. And I thought about doing this project in OHR RPG, mainly because it had plot scripting already, and I thought maybe I could build a tactical RPG engine on that. At least one person did, actually, but it was not me. And now it's not going to be, probably. Script IDs. Um, entity move. Oh, equals there. ID ref node move. Okay. Maybe I should make a struct. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I'll figure that out later. Node. Okay. Node. Uh, um, node dot turn speed. There we go. There we go. Do. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait a second. Probably need to define a class for this at some point. That would probably make more sense, but alas, here I am not doing that. Start battle. And text box. Menu state dot battle. Active battle. Oh wait, nope. I don't want that. Don't want that. I want this. Just check and make sure that there we go. Okay, well, let's see. Well, it froze. That's probably some kind of progress, because making something break is probably the first step to making it work. Let's see. Just make sure battle engine is active, is not active. That's good to know, which means something else happened instead. Did I at any point? Oh, hey. Okay, so I never actually properly did the code to bring the text box into the thing. So for right now, at least see if I can. Just do that and have these pirates not even tell you, give you a choice whether or not you're going to fight them or not. Nope, not what I wanted. Okay, so that's actually progress. It might not seem like it is, but it actually is at least a mild amount of progress versus where we were before, because even though you're not seeing, you did see the menu change, and that's what's important there. Battle engine. I just got a DM from Zephyr, and it said next MVM challenge, make a game not about cats, which is a fair challenge considering we've made 2 out of 3 entries about cats. Yeah, we might be insane enough to actually try MVM again in the next iteration, and it'll be right on the heels of RPG Mania 3, but it'll actually probably function in terms of like what we know how to do already. Okay, so why did we not? I can only assume active battle. Options, update labels, show menu. Okay, update labels, match state. Oh, I wonder if, let me see what this guy is. Action menu, menu state equals 4. What is the okay. State equals 4. Update menu options. I keep forgetting. Oh. Yeah, no, Stan, maybe I was not canceling everything. No, I'm sorry. Canceling everything is in like canceling my weekend. So like I had plans to host a game night tomorrow. Those are going to fall through. And I also had 2 other invites that came my way, and those are also going to fall through for the same reason, which is that I'm still feeling a little bit too under the weather. And so like I'm basically not being social tomorrow, even though I'm doing this. This is pretty low key. Um, and let's see. Okay, so what I don't understand is why it's giving me this action menu, update labels. Menu state dot status. Don't need to worry about that. Visible, Xbox, update keys, update labels. Okay. Really wish that I knew what was happening here. Actually, I'm gonna check Battle Engine, at least make sure that it's doing what it should be doing. Oh, good. Well, that's reassuring. Is that it actually has. Guard 1120. That's good. Hero, yeah. But I'm actually missing something. Oh no. Oh, okay. I see what my problem was. Okay. Well, that's going to be important. At least I can fix that from here. Action menu. Display. Yeah, so the upside kind of, Will, is that I will be there tomorrow to observe the Zaz stream. Like, I'm going to tell people if I get well miraculously like 3 p.m. tomorrow, then I'll probably try to make one of the things that I was invited to. Otherwise, I'll probably be watching the stream and, just hoping I'm well enough for church on Sunday rather than worrying about any other event that I had planned for this weekend, which is unfortunate for me, but in that respect, it works out okay for you because I can still be there for the Zaz stream. Where have you played any of Zaz yet?
Zaz, I don't think so.
I hope I linked you to Zaz because I feel like I should have by now if I hadn't.
Yeah, I don't, doesn't sound familiar to me, so.
Oh
I'll have-
man, I need to find it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick this in the Discord DM because it's already in. It's been already. I'm gonna put it in the chat too, but it's probably less effort from a DM than it is from the chat. Basically, Will made a game inspired by an old Magic the Gathering game called Chandelar, and also by Slay the Spire,
Hmm.
which um, is it's probably the most expansive world I've seen from a Will game um, in I think ever actually. Conquerbim is probably close, but this might actually be more expansive than that. Yeah. Um, Still, I mean, was there a thing with Zaz? Do you remember the Phoebus prequel that we kicked around in the chat very, very briefly? That like you'd sort of was that part of what became Zaz? I'm just curious. I'm not like I'm just curious if that was a thing. It was sort of a vibe that I got, but I wasn't like, oh, okay. I don't know why I thought maybe because they were visually very similar. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. Zaz is really it's a hard card game with a lot of tactics and semi-permadeath structure, similar to a roguelite or a Souls-like.
Gotcha.
Okay. 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 Nope, not what I wanted. Okay. Okay. I think we just need to start debugging things. I've been reduced now, Wervin. I've been reduced to doing things the way that I do in Megazeus, where I just start adding debug
Yep.
messages everywhere to know if it's actually going to the place that I expect it to go to or not.
Right. Well, yeah, if you don't have an actual debugger with breakpoints, I don't know. It's
That's a good
not,
point. I probably should be doing that. I think I do have breakpoints I could be using, but then I'm not.
uh,
Okay, wait. Okay, so it is there. Update menu options, update labels. So that's good. Context label. Menu labels, active battle. Okay, now let's try it like this. I have a feeling that somewhere something else is telling it to update, and it's doing it again as a result. Um, Okay, so that is what's happening. At some point, it's being told to update the menu options again. Okay, so the Phoebus prequel is more viable in Weave 2. That's good to know. Or Weave 2.8. 2.8. Weave 2. That's a long time ago. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. You're going to see things in Zaz that you wouldn't expect to see in ZT games because it's made in Weave, which is a little bit. If you remember the Zig project, imagine if Zig had been like what it actually wanted to be, and that's
Yeah.
approximately what Weave is, in my opinion. It's adding some of the things that Megazeus had, but without sacrificing the same simplicity that ZT sort of had. So there's a lot of ways in which I think it does the things that Zig was supposed to do better than Zig does. Also, it's released, and you can play it without compiling it for an obscure DOS programming language. So there's that. um, or whatever exactly it is you have to do with Zig to make it work. Uh, okay, so now that I know the action menu, I can see if that's the one that's triggering it. I mean, Weave does use a lot of the standard ZT files, although the exe is, I don't know if I'd call the exe a standard ZT file, but I do understand what you mean, because it does add, it doesn't add anything to the file format of ZT. That is true. The actual like world format is basically the same. Okay, so it's not that one. I see. Okay. Boom. Okay, finally have that going. Now I have to actually program like a queue and stuff. Okay. Um, and okay. While turn queue dot size less than 128. Oh. What does emergent behavior mean to you in this context, Will? Oh, small and okay, so like a dwarf fortress sort of like emergent thing. Right. Battle engine.gd, turn speed, move. Actually, I probably don't need that. Or battle ID refs. There we go. Turn wait. There we go. Oh yeah, you can join VC. Come on in. Speed. I can't promise, since I finally got on a roll, I can't promise that I will necessarily know everything that is being said perfectly, but I will try. Of course, you said that, and now I don't see you in the. Oh boy. Okay. So impossible one. Okay. Nope, not that one. Turn speed, nope. Yes, I do want turn speed. Okay, good. Plus equals this dot turn speed. If Hello.
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 What you got?
There we are. Oh, dear.
Turn queue. Print debug. Boom. Oh boy, that's no good. Operand types string and array. Well, I guess I'll just have to do it that way. Haha. Yay. Okay, so now I need to entity equals 4. Let's try 7 and see what happens. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what I'm doing right now, I'm building a turn queue that tells the game basically when each person can go. And basically what I would like to do is to have it eventually be that the player is a little tiny bit faster than the enemies, so that eventually the player overtakes them. Although I think that with just the amount of turns that are had here, that may not happen yet. Might need a smaller turnaround on the thing, like maybe 32 instead of 64. And these numbers are basically arbitrary. Like 32 is sort of similar to the weight count that was used in Horizon's Gate, which was the default 30. But it doesn't necessarily have to be anything in particular. I think I just need to make the values higher for anything else to work. So just want to see if I can get 2 heroes in a row basically at any point, because that would be kind of cool to see, to get the player, even to have like a second chance like once in a while would be awesome. Although one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to have it to where the player is the last one to move. So I'm thinking it'll either be random or whatnot. Sorry, Will, were you saying something in text that you wanted to talk about verbally?
Oh no, I just was just watching the stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's see. Oh, the prototyping that I've been doing has been interesting. So I've done a couple of different prototypes. One of them I called Jacquard, where I was working on a sort of ironically weaving themed game where you're sort of putting together bolts of cloth with different colored strings. And I was trying to see whether there was an emergent, some kind of emergent gameplay that would come out of either instructions that were fed to the machine, or maybe the machine itself and its different inputs could be used to create some kind of a modular-based gameplay, module-based gameplay, which could still bear fruit. I just didn't. It felt like it really needed to have the mouse and mouse control in Weave is still really
Mm,
bad.
right, that makes sense.
It's one of those things where, with some mice and menus, you might have the necessary breadth of scope to put together a game in that context.
Mm,
But we'll see. It's I sort of advocate for this from time to time in the ZZT Discord, but it really doesn't matter the genre that you're going for. You can evoke the feel of any genre if you are designing well. A well-designed game can evoke any genre regardless of its context. Now, context can play a huge role in who then ultimately becomes interested in interacting with the product of your work. But as far as the limitations of genre, I don't think that they exist necessarily. They're really just limitations of imagination and design. So maybe asking for the mouse is the wrong direction to go. So something that I didn't do in Kungerbim 2 that I cut, there were a few things. One of them was a really weird Facebook parody where you would delve into this sort of pit of tar and it would bring up random social media quotes. And the other one was the extended factory where there'd be a factory minigame. As it is, the factory exists as an entity. Nobody has yet entered it as far as I know.
mm,
But if you go into the DLC area, there is there is a trap door that you can enter that will take you into a subterranean factory area where I was going to have a mini game where you assembled widgets a la Shapes.io.
Hmm.
And I think Shapes.io might not still be online. Maybe it is.
I don't know if
Was
it's
Shape-
online. I got it on Steam at one point.
Yeah. So that it's sort of a simple puzzle game, Zachtronics-esque ish, where you're sort of just trying to take little individual bits and bobs and some very simple inputs, outputs, and manipulations and solve different puzzles. And I think that's a good example of emergent behavior as well. I think that that's a very emergent style of game development, that Zachtronics style. Or, something like Little Alchemy has even less context, but still I feel, has emergent capacity on account of just the numerous interactions. The interactions are limited really only by the developer's time and imagination. But yeah, I started trying to do that, and again, I felt hampered by a lack of a mouse. But
mm,
but even then, it feels like it's very difficult to make something fun
mm,
that's going to involve trying to lay out or design something on CCT boards. There's just not a lot of space. There's in one way there's not a lot of space, and then in another there's way too much space. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a solution yet. I haven't really nailed that down. In Szechuan peppercorn news, uh, my mouth still feels cold after 24 hours.
Still feels cold?
Yeah. So Szechuan peppercorns, unlike capsaicin, they raise the body's nervous system's tolerance to heat as opposed to lower it. So,
Ah.
so a regular pepper or peppercorn is going to lower the body's um, sensitivity or raise the body's sensitivity to heat, lower the threshold at which the body thinks that it's burning, hence the burning sensation. Whereas Szechuan peppercorn, the opposite happens. It raises that tolerance, and you actually your mouth feels cold instead of hot. And, it changes it causes the taste buds to change shape slightly too. So everything tastes different for a long time. I'm learning because it's now been 24 hours, and the mouth still feels cold, which is more than I
Interesting.
expected. And it's not a pepper or anything. It's a relative of the citron, is a citrus plant. So it has a sort of lemony sour taste. It's kind of spongy as opposed to peppercorn, which is hard and grainy.
Interesting.
But can recommend eating it alongside very hot Sichuan peppers, because that's how they do it. They have these super duper hot peppers, but they also have this sort of ground skin of citrus that um, counteracts that heat.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So that's a problem. It's all going to 32. Well, that's no good. But at least the hero's going first now.
If they're all going to 32, you should just name your hero Aaron or something, so it's always alphabetically first.
Oh man, that is something I could do. I think mainly what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the protagonist at the start of the array so that if there's a tie, the tie goes to the player.
Yeah.
And that way that'll solve that problem. It's more just a matter of uh, uh, it's more just a matter of turn speed. Not really being quite sure why it's not doing the thing that I expect it to do, basically. 'Cause the battle ID, no, 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 that's fine. Script IDs. Okay, let's check this out now. Okay. One, two, one, two. Okay, well, that was certainly a different problem than I expected it to be. I found it. I found the problem.
Good.
Yeah, so the problem is equals I wasn't actually changing the player character to have any higher of speed than the enemies at any point. So now it's going to be ridiculous probably. I'm sorry, one moment. Yeah, yeah, sure. Open it. There's a dog in my room.
A dog.
Yes. He's a Australian Shepherd, I think. And he is rolling over in a pet me position, I think.
Oh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Aussies are great.
Yeah, he's actually he's a pretty good dog. He doesn't do a lot that's like he's my aunt's dog, so he's not our dog, but he's over here often enough, and like when my dad and my aunt and some other people go on the Camino, he's probably going to be here for 2 months.
Got it.
So I do have to get used to him a little bit, but he's been very good. He's behaving himself. The only thing really that causes him to not behave is if he believes somebody that he knows is coming to the door, at which
Yes.
point he just immediately just like loses it. He's one of those dogs, like complete like loss of
Composure.
self-control. Yeah, it's complete. Yeah, and like I'm not his favorite person, not like in a bad way, just like I'm literally not his favorite person. I'm gonna try and get oh hey buddy, I didn't expect you to get that up in my face. Okay. What do I do this? What do I do with this? I'm just gonna briefly do something which is not really on topic, but might as well. I'm gonna paste this. It's not probably the world's best picture because I didn't get his eyes, but I'm going to grab OBS and we're going to grab the image and we're going to change the image. Here's this. Here we go. Here is this. And oh, I need to actually send the I did send the message. Oh, I sent it to Zephyr directly. I didn't send it to LBC. That's the problem. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take that. I'm going to save it. Oh, and just as soon as he's here, he's gone. Desktop. Okay. That is really big. Oh, that's not the right one. Okay. If any of you can hear that, that's him freaking out on my aunt because she made the mistake of coming through the door. I definitely. Okay, there you go. That was a lot of effort to go through just to show one dog photo on a stream. But there it is. Bask in his glory.
Oh.
Oh, he's
That's cute.
all black.
Yeah.
I did not expect him to be that dark colored. I thought sort of would be
He's
a tricolor Aussie.
he actually does have 3 colors. You can just only see the black on him right there.
Oh, okay.
So he also has basically some maroon slash red and some white. It just those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
mainly you can see a little bit of it on the paw and the leg down there. You just can't
A little
really
bit.
like if he were rolled over like he was when he first came in, then you would probably see more of the all colors. But anyway,
Gotcha.
that's the dog. I'm gonna take a brief. I'm gonna leave the dog on the screen for just a moment, and gonna go take a short stretch break, and I'll be back to go through a little bit more of maybe I can at least start the framework for a battle engine today, and then I'll probably call it after that, maybe about another 30 or 40 minutes or so.
Okie dokie. Well, if I don't see it, it's because I'm taking my own dogs out. I've got one sitting here on my lap that's starting to get antsy and wants to go out. So if I happen to drop off voice chat, that's where I'm at.
Cool beans. I'll be back in a sec.
Alrighty.
Oh boy. Well, I think I've just been established that I need to get better at reading and writing letters and cards this holiday season because I just got a letter from Francesco Aris, who is a Megazeus community person who left a bunch of reviews on places and hung around IRC for a little bit. Um, and I know that might not make a lot of sense. I just leave the dog up top, just not have it visual so I can repopulate with dog next time I take a stretch break. anyway, but Frankie, eventually we got to a point where like he and I have written letters, and I just got one from him, which makes me think that maybe I should get more serious about my correspondence, because I've got a bunch of Christmas cards that I have not actually read, much less have I responded to them. And I have a friend that I reached out to that I hadn't written to in months, and I said, "Hey, what's your address? Is it okay if I and haven't sent anything yet?" And I know technically if I want to get liturgical, which I don't really then it is still Christmas, but like I need to like create a card and send one for that person and probably a few others if I'm following the protocol of responding to those who've sent you cards in a relatively timely fashion. I'm probably it's gonna be more like post Christmas cards at this point, Epiphany cards maybe. Even though that's still technically whatever. I'm not gonna get into all that on this. This is a different type of nerd stream than that type. Oh, I just got some news from somebody that actually the other translator besides Frankie on Lover's Loop has finished something up. Just gonna,
Yeah, I was just getting that done.
yeah, that was very good of you. Thank you. That's gonna now the pressure's on, because now I have to actually fix that dash so that it makes sense. But once I do, we can. I think that's basically it. Like I basically fix the dash and
I
then
think so. Yeah.
and then give it another playthrough just to make sure that it works, and then
Yep.
that's it basically. We thought it would be kind of funny if every Megazeus game entered in the black and white dev competitions had an increasing number of languages each year, or at least I did. And Lancer had done some Japanese stuff for the space shooter that he made, or for the I don't know. Did you play that one? Did you play Pandemonium Buster?
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't think.
I would give it a shot. It's a pretty it's a pretty crazy looking project. I don't remember where I left off with that. Okay. I think I got distracted by the dog. Okay. Okay. Area update. Yes. So what Werven's been doing is painstakingly like working with a font that he found that was like a usable font basically, that we wouldn't have to like pay money for, but like making like a Megazeus version of it that we can use in Lover's Loop. Now, granted, we did not use by any stretch all of the kanji, but there were like something like
there are 2 pages plus a row of character sets, so that works out to something like 264.
Yeah, something like that. It's a lot of symbols to do by hand in Megazeus. And like I had done a version of most of the symbols, but like I'm guessing at least most of them needed some kind of modification to actually work.
Yeah, well, and they could have worked, but yeah, it was a consistency thing, and some of them were drawn in such a way that the elements weren't quite where they should normally be to be parsable. I learned some interesting things as I was, sort of transcribing the pixel art by hand on these in terms of how things are simplified when you simply don't have the space for all of the strokes. So one of the things I noticed was that for kanji that involve the radical for say or speak, that's usually drawn with 4 lines in a box, and for this it's drawn with 3 lines, because it parses the same way.
Oh.
Everything that, yeah. The other, like, if you're just looking at it at a glance, your brain, similar to reading English text, if you garble up the letters or cut some of them out, your brain still fills in the gaps, and that's kind of how it works. The other one that I've noticed a lot is the kanji for I versus the kanji for day are very similar. One has 3 lines, one has 2. And when that element shows up in more complicated kanji, it usually gets abbreviated to the 2-line version or 2-box version.
So wait, when
Yeah.
it's what happened? What makes it abbreviated? Sorry.
Like the visually abbreviated, I should say. Sort of a shorthand where the particular radical or element in the kanji should be a box subdivided into 3, but they use a box subdivided into 2. So it kind of parses the same way. If you're just kind of skimming over the kanji, your brain gives you the right thing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I noticed a lot of things like that.
Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, and you mean that was the 14 font, right? Like the the 14
I couldn't
tall?
find a 14 tall one.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I found a 12 pixel based font.
Did the 2 characters wide and mega just give you enough room to work with then for the most part?
Oh yeah, no man, if you're doing a 12 by 12 font, that fits inside that.
Oh yeah, that'll fit
Inside that
perfectly,
box just
basically.
fine. Yeah, and since what that actually means is more like 11 by 11, with occasional things bleeding off the edge, so that they are spaced and aren't just jammed right next to each other when the font was normal. So in this case, it has a little bit more space between everything, but not so much as to be odd, and it's perfectly legible.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. What is the
Hmm.
I'm just looking to see. It's still not working. Okay. Ready. Turn speed equals move plus blank.
I'm gonna have to head out shortly, seeing some friends tonight. So.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
But yeah, good to get on, have some
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, I'll probably yeah, you'll probably see. I mean, obviously, like it won't be like the voice probably won't show up in the log, but I've got at least enough material that I can time
Yeah.
lapse it into something that looks like a devlog. Looks like I've been doing work. I mean, I have been doing some work, obviously.
All right, yeah.
What is the deal with this? Okay, int equals 4. Turn speed int equals 4.
I'll see you later.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right.
Spell plus move. Okay. Oh. Debug. Oh. Okay, so that's at no point is this actually doing anything. Okay. Okay, so that's getting I thought ready was supposed to run on both. Hero ready runs on both. I'm so confused. Huh? Okay, let's just try it like this. I'm so confused. Okay, so they're all going now. Okay, let's try it now. Eight, 18. Okay. Okay. So I think this is going to do it. Because he's like over half the. Hero, hero. Okay, so that's too much. Clearly a little too much advantage. So we're going to try this, maybe something a little smaller, like let's try a value of 1 or 2, maybe. Actually, let's even try 0. Let's see, no, we don't want that. We want 1 probably. Let's see if we can get a hero, hero anywhere in there. And maybe we won't get it in there in that length of time. Yeah, maybe not quite that much. Let's try a value of 3, maybe. Just a slight advantage, or a time and a half advantage. Huh, okay. Oh, oh, weird, okay. Okay, I see the problem. I am actually making the hero less. So I'm actually more likely to see guards going multiple. Oh, hey, well, at least I know it works. Let's try 6, maybe 5, 6. Hero, hero. That's what I like to see. Sorry, that probably seems that seems like probably very underwhelming for everybody but me, but like seeing that is beautiful. Oh boy. Okay. Now let's make sure I can't like move around or anything like that. Okay, good. Oh boy. Oh, that's going to be tricky because I'm going to have a little difference of how to display things. That's really vague. I'm sorry. I just don't have a great way to explain it right now. Do to do. Okay. Now let's see what else can I do today. Is there anything else that I can do in like the next like 10 minutes before my brain is just completely useless? Uh, 6, but maybe I should just make the transfer value for this person 2 and make it 0 by default. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. 0 is going to be default, 2 is going to be like the main characters. And uh, Okay. Import. Okay. I think I might be out of steam. I noticed, I don't think you've said much, but Kilio, I noticed you've been around the entire time. Thank you to you, Stale Meme, Adult Witch, Altering Machine, Bob Pragd, and anybody else who showed up. Cynic, Happy Cynic. I am gonna call it here, I think, because it's been a bit of a day. And you know, nothing else. I got some scripting work done, so that's good. Anyway, ciao very much. Thank you for hanging out with me while I tried to get some stuff done and somewhat succeeded. Yeah. Bye.